So I have the great pleasure of introducing my good friend, Secretary Hitt, Bobby Hitt from the South Carolina Department of Commerce. I have the fortune of working and practicing law in the space of economic development. It's 100% of what I do in a small law firm, Womble Bond Dickinson, of about 1,200 lawyers. And I manage that practice for South Carolina, which means I'm very lucky because I get to work every day with the South Carolina Department of Commerce. And I've seen several of you here today. Can you stand up if you're with the South Carolina Department of Commerce? This team is hands down the best you will ever work with. And it's under Secretary Hitt's leadership that the project managers and everyone at the South Carolina Department of Commerce works tirelessly and travels the globe to bring companies to South Carolina and to help those that are already in South Carolina to expand and be even more successful. Secretary Hitt is from Charleston originally, so we're glad to have him back here today. Had an extraordinary career at BMW and also in journalism, and now leads our excellent Department of Commerce. So thank you, Secretary Hitt, for your leadership, and we're so glad to have you with us.
Been up since the crack of dawn, just trying to get paid. Been hotter than 100 suns, I can't find no shade. Just 2 more rows and I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm shutting this tractor down. Give me a half an hour.
I'm a little more of a beach music guy, but I do the best I can. Actually, I am delighted to be here today. I spent about the second half of my young life about 2 blocks from here on Anson Street. My family was one of the pioneers that moved in there. When we moved uptown from South of Broad, which some of you don't know what that means, but you can imagine what it means. My dad moved the city line up to Calhoun Street out front, so anybody that lived below Calhoun was cool at that point, and that has become true. Anyway, I'm Bobby Hitt, and I'm delighted to be here with you today, and you can look here and tell I didn't get this job because I'm the prettiest guy in the room. You'll all know Sam. But anyway, I'm delighted to be here. In July of 2016, our team decided that we would form a partnership with SC Bio to determine the footprint of life science sector in South Carolina. At that time, there were a lot of companies operating in the sector. We didn't really have our hands around it. We had been busy getting our hands around some other sectors, which I'll mention in a minute, but we knew it was time. And so we knew that boosting this important industry would take a team effort, which is kind of how we operate. We're a very team-oriented group. Together with SC Bio, we worked to create a roadmap for the future of sciences in South Carolina. The strategic plan would allow us to further develop an up-and-coming state in the national and global life sciences industry. To this point, I can say that our joint efforts are paying great dividends here in the state. With a footprint of more than 15,000 employees in South Carolina and over 400 firms, the life science industry has become a major driver of our economy. We're looking at a total annual economic impact of more than $11.4 billion. Additionally, the life science industry has an employment multiplier of approximately 2.9. I believe, since I'm a layman, I could round that up to 3. For every 10 jobs created, and 19 jobs are created elsewhere, meaning in the imputed category. These are high-paying jobs. One of the things our team has worked on very hard was to recruit not just jobs, but to recruit the right jobs for South Carolina, not only to look at what is available to us, but what fits with us, what fits with our universities, what fit with our businesses, in the case of bio, our hospitals, and the movement that's going on in all of the biosphere in South Carolina. These high-paying jobs average more than $78,000 a year, which is a high-paying job in South Carolina where the per capita income is just under $40,000. So it's clear that the life science sector can bring remarkable opportunities to the people of South Carolina. We can only seize on these opportunities if we continue to work together. Our partnership with SC Bio is just one of many that we have utilized to advance South Carolina's high-tech economy. Whether it's life sciences, automotive, aerospace, or any of the other target industry clusters, teamwork is what gets us where we need to be. Years ago, we started, not so much by the Department of Commerce. I actually had a private sector paying job at the time. We started the South Carolina Automotive Council to strengthen our state's automotive sector. The natural notion was BMW was here, some of its suppliers were here. What are we missing? What do we need? What do we need our universities to focus on? So it's a classic broad gap analysis, and the SC Auto Council was created. It has grown very large. As a result, we now have one of the top automotive industries in the world. In the event you're not familiar with it, BMW is here making about 1,500 cars a day. Volvo is here, about to start making cars every day, having invested close to $1 billion in a new plant about 25 miles north of where you sit. And our friends at Mercedes-Benz have opened a Mercedes-Benz van plant, and they will be making cars vans on a daily basis. So what we have in South Carolina is a constellation of three pretty remarkable companies on the automotive side: BMW, Volvo, and Mercedes-Benz. That's one heck of a constellation. I don't believe any other state has that. So we're the premium brand state. I'm pretty pleased with that. And in addition to that, we've attracted tire companies here. So now we have 5 tire companies in South Carolina. 3 of them we recruited in the last handful of years. And we're the largest tire producing state in the United States. We lead the nation in the export of both completed passenger cars and tires. All of this has been changed. It's taken place in a fairly compact amount of time. More recently, we developed a partnership with the SC Council on Competitiveness, an NGO. And why would I do that? Well, one of the things I've discovered as a non-governmental guy running a governmental agency is government's really not very good at continuity. So if I want these programs to survive, whoever is sitting in the chair in the corner office, I need to make sure that I have someone getting up every day and worrying about this problem, and they don't necessarily need to sit in the agency. But in fact, these people do sit in the agency. They just happen to be on the payroll of an NGO. So they're integrated into our operation, and we have a contract with them to support it. But I don't want there to be a possibility that someone comes along behind me and says, I don't care about that, and cuts it off. We need to have continuity in our sectors. We need to have state and universities and others engaged in those sectors, and I need someone to work on that every day, which we have. And our strategy seems to be working. The average annual aerospace employment growth since 2010 is approximately 13%. And distribution and logistics firms, we've created a logistics group as well, has announced more than $1.2 billion in capital in the last 7 years. So it's clear that our key to future prosperity in this state will be the most important word in our vocabulary at Commerce, and that's collaboration. When smart people are all gathered together in one place, and I'm pretty impressed by what I see here. I was with this group, I think, 2 years ago, and the group seems to have multiplied by about 100%. When smart people are gathered in one place and working toward a common goal, good things happen every time. So 25 years ago here in South Carolina, we were what I call the textile, 3T state: textile, tobacco, and tourism state. That's who we were. We had low-skill manufacturing. We had tobacco. Remember tobacco? And, of course, we had tourism. The center of tourism, quite frankly, was here along the coast and centered in Charleston and some of our beach communities to the north and south. That's changed. We're now an automotive, aerospace, bio, tourism. Tourism's the only thing that's really stuck. Textiles didn't go away. It went away in the main as an employer, almost 150,000 jobs, and over about a decade. Tobacco, well, we all know about tobacco. There's not much of that here either. Tourism is thriving. We had to make room in this town for the industrial age and the bio age, because this is a town with great bio activity going on as well as industrial. 10 years ago, thereabouts, Boeing decided to come to South Carolina, and let me just say it came in with a roar, and what a change it has made for the low country and for South Carolina. So just as we've tried to do with bio, we've done with automotive, we've done with aerospace, and now we've done also with logistics, because everything's got to move. We have tried to bind the state together and work in a collaborative and cooperative way. Our universities are involved. Our state government is involved through commerce. All 46 of our counties are engaged. Just to give you an idea, we were not an automotive state 25 years ago, but automotive manufacturing is in 37 of our 46 counties, and already aerospace is in 30. Bio is everywhere, and it needs to be more and more. And so we can continue to improve the quality of life in South Carolina for all South Carolinians if we hold on to this momentum that we've generated as a state. And that's what we intend to do, and we do it with your help. Everything we do is a group activity, it's a team activity. It's not commerce, it's all of us. Commerce is maybe calling the plays a little bit, but our job is to do the research, get a focus, set a strategy, and get everybody to buy in, and that's what's made us successful, and that's why we're so excited about SC Bio and now being part of the cluster of what we do in South Carolina and the success we have had because of you and the work you're doing, and I'm delighted to be here and see this group so big and see my friend Lou right here on the front row. With that, thank you very much for having me here today and for all you do.
I'd like to ask Bobby to stay up front, and I want to thank him very much because he was a big part of recruiting us here, and we are certainly, as I said earlier, glad to be home. If I could have Sam and Jennifer come on up, I would very much appreciate that. Come on up, Jennifer. We have a little something I'm going to talk about. Okay, so as we talked about earlier, we've implemented some new awards. I'd like now to talk about the South Carolina Life Sciences Hall of Fame Award, which we will periodically recognize an individual for extraordinary and notable achievements over an extended period in developing, advancing, and even transforming South Carolina's life sciences industry. Hall of Fame honorees like the one we are presenting today must demonstrate business excellence and acumen, courageous thinking and action, vision and innovation, inspiring leadership, and community-mindedness, and I think it's great if they have a journalism degree. I added that. Okay, while serving as an aspirational role model for those who follow, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of presenting this first award to my friend Bobby Hitt.
Thank you very much.
Yay! Like an ovation.
Thank you very much. Some journalists turn out okay, or attempted journalists. At any rate, this is just remarkable, but again, this is about team. Let me tell you, South Carolina has been pretty terrific at economic development for a long time, so we all stand on the shoulders of a lot of people that came before us. I will just tell you, I couldn't be prouder of how we have joined together and focused over the last 8 years. I expect it to continue. I will make every effort I can to make sure that it continues. It's been a great success, and we couldn't do it without our universities, all of our partners in the private sector and the public sector. I see my friend Chris Brzimble out there, who taught me an awful lot. And so I thank you very much for this wonderful award. You can be assured I will share it with a department who deserves it more than I do. Thank you very much.
Thanks.